Okay, so we're back again. So we have our pattern glued to our metal, and we have our saw frame ready to go. We have a tight blade, and what we're going to do, if you can see this pattern, we're going to cut all of these lines in this pattern, you know, so that they all come apart like this. And again, you know, this just takes some practice, and it takes practice putting these back together, so whatever, we'll get rid of that thing. But our pattern is ready to go, and everything that's black on here we're basically going to remove. The one thing that we need to do, and the other thing that's in your kit as well, is a bench pin. And your bench pin is a little bit different than mine, but it's all the same concept. It's basically a piece of wood with a wedge cut out of it, and what that does is it gives you support on both sides, but gives you a space for your saw blade to move. And what that does, it prevents, you know, your metal from flexing, because if that flexes, it's just going to bind on your blade and then it's going to break. One thing that works too is to get some wax. And that's one thing I just thought of that I probably don't have in your kit. But one thing that works really well is just like a crayon. And all you have to do is just kind of take your saw blade and just kind of put a little bit of wax on one side, and that'll actually help lubricate the blade and help with you know the life of the blade, I should say. But the nice thing about this particular tool is it is very versatile. So if I want to cut out this triangle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on that black line, and I got to make sure that my camera is in focus here, but I'm just going to move it up, and just so I can get that blade to bite. And then this saw really only works in a downward direction. And you know, one thing that I think it's hard for beginners to do is to slow down. The slower you work, the more accurate you're going to be. And now, yeah, so this is the tricky part, getting this in the camera. But it's really just a gentle downward motion, and let the saw do the work. The other thing that you're going to notice is that my saw blade, I want to keep that perpendicular, right at a right angle to my metal. And sometimes I can just kind of blow the shavings out of the way if it's getting in the way of the line and I can't see it. But I'm going to the end of that, and I can actually pull that blade out if I want now. I'm going to see if I can adjust this slightly. Okay, I think that might be better. But if I have a real sharp angle like I do at the top of that triangle, sometimes it's better to just back out. Ooh, and did anybody see that paper lift up? So I'm going to kind of hold that down. But again, it's like I can't stress enough to cut slow. So it's a very slight forward pressure and a very gentle downward pressure. And honestly, the only way that you're going to really figure this out is by trying it. And that's why I really like to do little practice demonstrations and little practice projects so that you get accustomed to using this saw frame. And now when I'm getting close to the end of my cut, I'm really going to slow that down, and you can see how that triangle is removed. So that's one piece out of there. The next step is, what's really cool about this tool is you can actually cut a 90-degree angle. And I'll show you here, and this gets a little bit, I shouldn't say tricky, but it just gets a little bit to get used to this. So again, remember that I'm cutting, you know, very slow and accurately, and this is just a straight line. But now that I get to that corner, what I want to do, and the nice thing too is I kind of move this metal around, is I'm going to speed up my stroke. So this is one of those times where we speed up the motion, but I'm not going to use any forward pressure. I'm just going to kind of move this quickly, and as I'm doing this, I turn the corner. So I'm not moving forward, I'm just moving straight up and down really quickly, and then slightly turning the metal or turning the saw frame, or both, you know, depending on your preference. And now now that I made that bend or that turn, I can go slow again to get my straight line. So now I need to make another 90-degree turn. So I'm speeding up and turning the corner. Now I can move slow again. Okay, one more 90-degree bend. And then I can move slow again. And there's my piece. Okay, and if we kind of move back over here, you can see how these pieces will fit right back together. Pretty cool. But I really can't stress enough, and I mean, I think it's just like, it's innate in human nature, I think, that people just want to move fast and get the job done as quickly as possible. But what you'll find out is, like, if you really try to rush it, you're going to be less accurate, and then you're going to want to start over. So you're actually spending more time in the end. So those are two ways to cut with the saw. Now you might be asking, well, what about this black circle here? Or, oh yeah, that's a circle. I'm a professor. Yeah. So this is an oval. Yes, a black oval. But how do we cut that out if there's no lines going to it? Now this is called piercing. And also in your kit is a, now let's get this in the frame, is like a handsaw. And again, I'm a professor. This is a handsaw. This is a hand drill. And you know what? I'm still going to put this on the video and not edit it, because that's really just kind of funny. But if you look at this hand drill, at the end of the drill is a chuck. And you know, if I hold the handle and turn the chuck, you can see that this is the 3-jaw chuck, and the 3 jaws actually open up. So if I hold the handle and then, you know, spin this, those jaws get closer together. And I just need to open this enough where that drill bit, and there's drill bits in your kits as well, and this is like a number 58, which is a pretty small drill, and they're really flexible. What you don't want to do is put a ton of pressure on this, because this will break. And that leads me to another really good suggestion, is wear your safety glasses that are in your kits as well, because you really don't want a piece of metal in your eye. Trust me, it's happened to me several times, and I had safety glasses on. So, but wear your safety glasses, and we're going to cut really slowly with this drill. But the first thing that we need to do, and now this camera's going to go all over the place because I need a hammer. or a mallet. Mallet will work. And what I'm going to do is, let's find it again, is I'm going to put a small hole with this little tool that's called a center punch, which is also in your kit. And if you look, there's a small little point on the end of that. And all we're going to do is put that in somewhere within that circle, and then slightly hit that with the mallet. And I don't know if you can see this. I'll move this up really close, but you should be able to see a little indentation that was caused by that center punch. And what that will do is it will allow your drill bit to seat in that hole without it sliding around. So I'm going to put this on my bench pin, and don't worry about drilling into your bench pin. If you look at my bench pin, there's holes all over in the thing. And bench pins are cheap, but your tabletops are more expensive, so you don't really want to drill into the tabletop. So I'm not really going to put any downward pressure on this, or hardly any at all. And I'm just going to turn my drill bit. If I press too hard, that drill bit is going to flex. And the thing with drill bits is they are made out of high-speed steel, which is really hard, but it's also really brittle. So if there's too much flex in that thing, you're going to break it. And it will take a little bit of time.